Right, okay, folks. Welcome to is it episode 1 or is it episode 2? I'm not quite sure because technically last week's was a pilot episode, so I think this is number 1. Now, how did I get into doing this podcast thing? Yeah, I was thinking I want to do a podcast type thing. What can I talk about? Now, a friend of mine's a Mr. John Lattimer, who used to be, he was quite prominent on YouTube. Top bloke, Scottish. What's not to love? John used to have a podcast called Desert Island The Games, and he used to invite guests on, and they would talk about their, I can't remember, it was the top 5, whatever it was, games. Now, I was thinking about that last week, and I thought, you know what, that would be a really good, that would be something nice and easy. Give me your top 3 games, give me your worst 3 games, da 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 da. But then I thought, you know what, I don't want to just go ahead and do this. I says, because at the end of the day, I'm nicking an idea from a mate. So I got on YouTube, found John, and he's here. How are you, mate?
Well, what a great build up. Yeah, I'm brilliant. How are you?
Yeah, so I contacted John last week, and we had a bit of a chat. And I obviously I was asking your permission, if you were happy for me to kind of take over the mantle, so to speak.
I appreciate you doing that, contacting me and asking me. But I mean, you don't really need my permission, but I respect that you came to me, and it's yeah, it's been a while, and yeah, in case anybody's wondering, I'm not dead. I'm still here.
That's good. Just very briefly then, John. What have you been kind of up to? I mean, to give you a bit of background, John used to put out. You did put out obviously YouTube videos, and I think that the thing you're most kind of best known for was doing your desert island games. So just
Yeah,
can you just give us a quick brief sort of brief as to your kind
yeah.
of YouTube background?
Well, I can't remember how long I've been off, but I've done YouTube from about 2012 to 2017, maybe. I started off just doing videos with no voice, and I joined Retro Unlimited. The guys gave me the confidence to finally speak on the videos, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden I'm doing podcasts at Alien Games, and now I've ended up on the radio, on FM radio. So considering 2012 when I started this, I was too scared to even put my voice out there, and now I've been interviewing like some of the biggest metal bands on FM radio show. It's crazy.
That is awesome. So you're actually on, is it a live show or is it pre-recorded or how does it work?
Well, it was pre-recorded during COVID for obvious reasons. I was just going back to doing live stuff. I think it was September last year we started again doing live stuff. But I've got a lot of stuff going on in my life just now without going into it, like my wife and some mental health issues and whatnot. So, um, family comes first. I was
Absolutely.
letting them down. Something like, sorry, I can't do the show this week, this and that. So I thought, it's not fair for to continue to let people down. So I thought,
Mm.
I'm just going to go on a bit of a extended break. So I am off the radio at the moment, but I definitely plan to go back.
Yeah, no, that's good. And just we were having a wee chat off air before we started recording. You said you're thinking about possibly kind of coming back onto YouTube, like for gaming
Yes, I
wise.
am,
Is
but
that a
yeah,
thing?
absolutely am. But it's like, what do I do? Because, especially as people, as you say, we were talking there, and you like the retro game channels, and not so much like the modern stuff. But I can't help thinking that I'll end up moving to modern stuff. But I don't want to upset the retro gamers. But I don't know. I need to give it some thought.
You need to, yeah. I mean, not that I'm going to give you any tips, but top tip is I say to anybody, you need to pick something that you're interested in. Yeah, by all means, if you want to make money, then play Call of Duty or make reaction videos or whatever. You know what I mean? Or fight whatever it is, some big YouTuber in a boxing match, and you'll get loads of money. But if you want to do something you enjoy, you need to get a hobby that you know enough about and something that you genuinely enjoy. Because as I know myself, when it is it what's his name, Ray Winston says in old betting ads, when it stops being fun, then stop. And it's the same
Exactly.
with YouTube.
Yeah, it is. I've toyed with the idea because my channel was JL76 Gaming, I
That's
actually
right.
tried to get back into it, and I renamed it Random Metal Geek. So I was going to just try and do a kind of combination of my rock stuff with retro gaming or something, but it's just my creative juices weren't flowing, so I just need to get that creative hat back on and see what we can do.
Before we crack on, are you a Maiden fan at all? Are you going to see Maiden
Oh,
next
I
week?
mean, I seen Maiden last year at Download, yeah, first time.
Oh, I'm going to. They're playing. I think is it next? It's June. I think they're playing.
They play a lot of they play a lot of the new stuff, which is fine, But a lot of the fans are going, "Oh, can't play the old stuff," But they were good.
Well, apparently, I can't remember when it is. It's in June. Anyway, they're playing Hampden. I'm lucky enough to get some tickets. I think they do. I think they are playing a lot of their old stuff as well, which is good. But listen, if there's anybody from the BBC watching this, then you want two Scottish old blokes to pick up the mantle from Consolvania, Latimer and Meister, then hit me up, and I'm sure John and we can negotiate prices and salaries and what have you.
Yeah,
Get
and
us on BBC Two, 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. We'll smash it.
I've got the radio experience, so it's a no-brainer.
There you go. It is an absolute no-brainer. So anyway, listen, I've not called it. When I did the pilot episode, I didn't even have a name for the thing, and instead I'm one of these twats. Instead of coming up your top 3 favorite games and 3 games you don't like, I've called it the Nice and Nasty Gaming Podcast.
Nice.
3 nice games and 3 nasty games. Now, what I want you to do, John, rather than the sort of the desert island type scenario, there's been an Armageddon. We've gone to war. You're in your shelter and somebody's come on. By the way, mate, I can give you 3 games. You're going to be in here until you die. There's all the food in the world. There's electricity. There's Wi-Fi. Pick 3 video games. That's the only 3 video games you'll ever get to play ever again, in no particular order. Give me number 1, and why would you have that game as one of your 3 games?
So, seeing as this is a retro channel, I better keep it retro because I'm sure there's a few modern games that I could pick. But I'm going to keep it retro. So, I mean, right off the bat, it's got to be Sensible World of Soccer.
Oh.
I've interviewed John here on Desert Island Games, great guy, and it was like meeting a hero.
Yeah.
And Sensible Soccer itself is great, but the Sensible World of Soccer with the career mode and all it's got every team in the world. It's just
quite literally.
Literally. I remember there was not an advert for it, but I think I bought one of these kind of Amiga magazines back in the day, and it had a cover disc, right? So I put the cover disc in. It was a demo of SWOS, and once you played the game, there was a thing come up at the end of it. It said, "We've got every team in the world, even Airdrie."
The fact that they even knew that Airdrie was a place. Oh man, yeah. You know what? You've got me in that one. I mean, I can still remember getting a demo disc. It was on Amiga Power, and it was called Sensible Soccer. And I remember playing it, and I phoned my mate at the time, and I went, "You need to come up and play this game." And he came up and fucking the graphics are shit. I goes, I would just play it. And that was it. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday night or Tuesday morning. Like, you better go home. That was it. I was like you. It was hooked, and it got better and better and better. Eh?
Yeah, and the thing is, it just goes to prove in the game the graphics isn't everything, because I still say SWOS to this day holds up against your FIFAs.
Oh, every day of the week.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm probably the wrong person to really say that, because I'm an old, tetchy old bloke. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm assuming it's got to be the Commodore Amiga version.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I still play it to this day on the Xbox. It's because you can download it for Xbox Live. I actually joined, so sadly, in the last couple of years, I joined a Sensible World of Soccer, basically league. So I play against all these other guys on Xbox Live, but I kind of fell away from that.
Does that still work? It still works on Xbox Live? Seriously?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, mate. And is that what Xbox is like, the 360 or something? Or is it?
Yeah, when I originally got it, it was in the 360, but it's worked on my Xbox One. It still works now on my Xbox One X.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Code was it not? I think Codemasters converted it for it was Microsoft Arcade or something. I think they called it.
That's
Whatever
it.
it was.
That was it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It never really. I couldn't really get on with it. I always felt, and I remember when I sold my Amiga and I got the PC. The very first, this was 1996. The first thing I did was go up to game and I bought World of Sensible Soccer for the PC, and it looked the same. It sounded the same, but it was just something ever so slightly different, and it just never. It just didn't really just didn't work for me. I think possibly the fact it was a joystick, because I think it was the old Atari 8-bit or 8-pin joystick on the Amiga, and I think I was using it with like a Mega Drive controller, but I never quite got on. It was never quite the same. And if I do play, and I do still play the game from time to time, it will always be the Amiga one.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when I say SWOS, I obviously I don't mean the Xbox version. I do mean like it's just called Amiga, and you know the hours I lost in that game and the battles that used to cause between me and my brothers was unbelievable. We hit each other with a joystick and all sorts of things. That was man.
I remember my girlfriend at the time. We went out for a night out, and one of her workmates, she was there with her husband, a guy called Douglas Laurie, and I got talking, and what is it you do? Oh, blah 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 blah. I'm a salesman. Oh, right. What is it you do? And I said, you got any hobbies? Oh, I play football. Who's it? Alloa. I'm the team captain. Really? I went home that night. There it is, Dougie Laurie. I went, and I didn't phone him because you didn't have mobile phones back then. I remember saying to my girlfriend at the time, tell whatever her name is, Karen, to tell her husband that he's in Sensible Soccer. I thought that was brilliant.
I've got a sort of distant relative that plays for Kelty Hearts.
Who's that? Sorry, who plays for Kelty Hearts?
It's basically my wife's cousin. Get married to a woman, and her brother is a player for Kelty Hearts.
Oh, nice. I take they're not in Sensible World of Soccer, are they?
No, they won't be. They won't be.
I must admit, any time I did play, I always preferred going against like fruits versus Chinese takeaways.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Chicken chow mein in the wing. Brilliant.
That's the thing as well. See the time I spent editing the teams as well. Like putting in, honestly, the time I wasted doing that, where I could have been doing something more productive.
Aye, you do know that I think it is a thing. You can download like Sensible Soccer for the PC, and there's an active group.
Yes.
That you'll have Lionel Messi and all that kind of stuff. Are you into that at all, or are you more?
I did. When I was in this league, that was telling you about, I was having a bit of a SWOS comeback. I don't know how to say it, but basically I downloaded it for the PC, and I did download the kind of patches and stuff and the up-to-date version.
I think anytime I play it now and it's Scotland, it's still like Ali McCoist. He's like the top striker.
All the names in the Xbox Live version are all changed. You know? So it's like
were they made like Ali McCoist or something? Was that what it was?
Mark Cutley, you know.
I think it kind of lost a bit. I think the thing that I loved about it was the fact that there was all these real obscure teams, as you say, you know, Stirling Albion and Queen of the South, and they had real names. The fact that they had real names was just absolutely awesome. But then, listen, we could probably have another podcast just to talk about how kick-ass, pun intended, Sensible Soccer is. So yeah, an absolute cracking first choice, young man. Number 2.
I'm glad you actually didn't ask me previously. I mean, I kind of had an idea that this was how it would go, but I'm glad I didn't give it a lot of thought because I'm shooting from the hip now, so to speak. But I think the next one would have to be, I'm not sure whether it'd be 1 or 2, I guess 2, but it'd have to be Monkey Island, Secret of Monkey Island, LeChuck's Revenge, I think I'll go for the second one.
Interesting. Can I ask why?
It's just, well, my fondest memories of gaming back in the day when I was a young guy, teenager, was having the Commodore Amiga, and I think I had bought a Commodore Amiga off of, you remember those yellow papers you used to get?
Yeah, the yellow newspaper.
I bought a Commodore Amiga, and I was attracted to this one straight away because the guy said it comes with Sensible Soccer and Championship Manager, but when I picked it up, it had this Monkey Island game. I didn't even know what it was, and I put it on. It's your humour. It's so funny, the humour, and it is just really up my street. Like, there's a bit in it where he gets fired out of a cannon, these circus guys, and he hits a post and he gets knocked out, and the guys are saying, "Are you all right?" He's like, "My name's Bob, and are you my mother?" it's just that, I just like that stupid wacky humour. It's like,
It's an interesting thing. So would I be right in thinking you wish that you could go back, having never played it, and you're going to play it for the first time?
Oh, absolutely. I do. Do you know it's one of these things? I actually still play it about once a year, and I try to go. I've played it so much that I can pretty much do it without the guide. I just remember.
So yeah. So would I be right in thinking? I'll be honest. That's a type of game that I have never really got into, and I've never played it. I'm like, you're kind of trying to convince me, and I'm thinking maybe I should. I was going to say revisit. I should start playing it. Is it? Would you say it's because it's like your favourite film? Every time you watch it, you're going to enjoy it again. You get the
pretty
same.
much.
Yeah.
There's a strange comfort to be had. I've seen this somewhere on the internet. There's a strange. I'm not saying I'll get mental health issues or anything, but there's a strange comfort to be had if you do have a bit of depression or whatever to if, doing the same things over and over again because you know it's safe. You know what's going to happen. Safe,
I totally get that. And it's if I'm going to watch a film, I'll start watching a film, and then I'm one of these people. I'm quite mean with my time, and I've got a really short span of attention, and I'll get half an hour in a film. I'll think I'm not even watching. I'm bored. So what do? I put on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I've seen that film so many times.
So good.
I know it word for word, and I still love it. It's just, and it's what you're saying. It's like a comfort thing. I know. I watch it. My girlfriend doesn't understand. Why would you want to watch a film that you've seen? Well, she says because I know how much I enjoy it and I love it, and every scene I'm laughing out loud. It's just fantastic. So I totally get that. So it takes you. It's interesting because the pilot episodes. I can't really mention who it is because I've not actually mentioned it yet. But the one I did, in fact, I can actually. There's a guy called Bill Harbison who used to because this is going to be going out after the first one. Bill used to work for Ocean Software, and one of the games that he picked was I can't remember what it was, but it was a game that it was School Days for the Spectrum, and he says it just takes him back to a really happy time in his life. So I totally get that.
That's exactly it. It's like, I guess, like hanging on at my childhood. But I mean, I guess I say us because I don't do it anymore, but us retro YouTubers, and I guess there's a reason why we do that. It's because we're hanging on to our childhood.
It's part of it's the whole nostalgia thing, talking about it. It's just it takes you back to a time in your life when life was a bit simpler. I think probably suffice to say that. So that's another great choice. It's not a game I've really played, but what's interesting for me personally is it was quite funny because, and I hope this isn't your game. Before I started, when I was talking to Bill, I was explaining the premise of it. I said you could, the last three are games that should never have been written. Games that are so bad, like the Breath of the Wild fucking Zelda game in the Switch. Guess what game he picked? as one of his favourite games. I went, for fuck's sake! But you know what? After it, he kind of convinced me. I'm thinking, I need to go and play this game now. And it's the same way. It's the same way like Monkey Island. I think it's interesting because obviously you're putting people on the spot. You're asking them to pick three games that are very, very special to them that they're going to be quite happy to play over and over again. So if at the end, if I end up doing 50 of these podcasts, I could have 150 games that were picked. These are the games you must play before you die. You know what I mean?
That could be content for your YouTube channel, playing all the games that you've not played that we've all mentioned.
It could, absolutely. So, great choice, right? And your final nice game?
Well, like I said, I'm not really giving it a lot of thought, so I'm just trying to think of games that take me back to my childhood. And
It's got to be a game. Remember, you can only ever play these. You can't ever play anything else. So it's got to be a game that you'll be quite happy to keep playing.
It's got to be something that's in depth. I'm trying not to pick another football game because I could easily pick Championship Manager. I don't want to pick another adventure game. So I'm probably going to go for a game called Henry's House, believe it or not. And I could play that. I know it's just a little 8-level game.
Was that on the BBC? No.
It was on the Atari. It was on the Commodore, I think, but I played it on the Atari 65XE, which was my first computer.
Oh, I had one of them. I upgraded to the 130XE. Great computer.
Yes. Yeah. So this little game, Henry's House, it's just a little platform game, but I could play it over and over again because it's actually quite addictive. Because you only get 3 lives to go through all 8 of the levels. And you could get to level 6 and lose your life and have to go all the way back to the start again. So you could actually lose a lot of time on it.
You lose a life. Wait a minute. You lose a life and you go right back to level 1 again.
No, if you lose your 3 lives, you go back to level 1.
Oh, right. So is it kind of influenced by sort of Manic Miner type thing? Would you say?
Aye, definitely. It's like because I'm trying to think what I would compare it to. I used to play games in my cousin's Spectrum, and I'm sure there was one called like Dynamite Dan or something.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So it's maybe kind of not based on that, but that kind of same idea.
I do remember. I can't for the life of me. Was it not released by? It's bizarre. I can't remember what I had for my tea tonight, but I've got this strange thing about memory with games. Was it not written by a company called English Software or something?
You're definitely along the right lines there.
Henry South. I do remember the title. I can't remember anything about the game. I knew it was a platform game, I think.
Yeah.
And so is that a game that you played a lot back in the day? And again, would you say it's just that it's fun to play?
It's fun to play. It's addictive as hell because when you do lose a life and you do die in it, you think to yourself, I know I can do that better next time. I know I was just like a motherly. I'm going to swear here. I hope that's all right because it's Scottish measurement. I was a ball hair away from just getting under that boot. So it's you just want to go back again and again to do it because you know it's like
fun to play. And let's be honest, that is what video games are about. They need to be fun.
Yeah,
I think we've kind of lost the place with modern video games. That's for another day. So no, listen, three great choices for different reasons. You've got your Sensi Soccer, which is obviously you could just play that for years and years and years, and it never gets tired. Then you've got your Monk Island, because it's like watching every episode of Fawlty Towers. You're never going to tire of it. And then finally, you've just got your game that you can complete over and over again, but it's challenging enough to make it interesting.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Good choice, right? And the nasty games that you hate, games that you despise, games that you think that was, should never have been written. What a lot of crap for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be a particularly bad game. I mean, I mentioned earlier on Breath of the Wild by Zelda, or Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm going to get burned alive for saying things like that. But 3 games that, for whatever reason, you despise and should be thrown into the fires of hell.
I've never really thought about despising games before, if I'm being honest. I just tend to play games that I like, so I'm trying to think, have I played games that I really hated? But I hate role playing games. I don't buy into the whole role playing thing. I know people love them, so I apologise. But just off the bat, Legends of Zelda. Just you mentioned it yourself. Legends of Zelda games like that. It just bore me to tears.
What is it about it that you don't like? Do you think
it's just too dull? I can't put my finger. It's just like maybe my brain doesn't understand them or something, but I just don't get the point of it.
I'm a bit like that, and I know this isn't about me. This is about you. But I'm a bit like that, and as I was saying to Bill, he was going on about Zelda and all that. And the thing with games like that they're so massive
Yeah.
I think I'm not even scratching the surface of it, and you're just wandering about aimlessly. And then the thing that really gets on my tits is when you've got to craft things, you've got to craft a bow and arrow, and then after you've killed 3 or 4 zombies or whatever it is,
Yeah.
it breaks, and you've got to craft. It's like that's like going to work. I want to shoot bloody things. I don't want to be building things. Says he who my secret, not my secret fantasy. My what's that thing where
Got the pleasure? Is it
like
got the pleasure?
guilty pleasure? My guilty pleasure is power hose simulator, pressure wash simulator, where you
All right.
literally pressure wash shit. I've been playing that on my Xbox, yeah, and you literally just clean things. So that just blows my argument right out of the water. But I get you with your Zelda. I'm the same with Thingmy games. Do you think do you think it's because it's dull to play, or is it because you've got to put in so much effort, you've got to invest time in it, and
It is probably that, and like
mm,
you said as well, like kind of like what's the one for hypocrite. I played Red Dead Redemption 2. I wouldn't call that a role playing game, but there's certainly a lot of stuff we need to go and craft and all the rest of it. But so I love that, but I don't know. It's just I think it's more the setting. I think the kind of I don't like fantasy. Do you know what I mean? It's like everybody loves like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings and things like that. I hate that sort of thing. So I guess Zelda's kind of
you're probably not in a very good place if you dislike Lord of the Rings, then you're not going to enjoy adventure games. And I'm kind of like that as well. The funny thing is, I kind of think to myself, I would love to love games like that, but I just can't be bothered. I mean, I've the number of games over the years, people going about like Dungeon Master, one of the best games in the Atari ST, and like I played it for like 10 minutes and got bored. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's fine crafting football teams, typing in your own name. That's different, isn't it?
Oh, of course, everyone's got their own what is it like and dislike, and that's just that. I'm not picking on Legend of Zelda specifically, but just that style of game. But
That
that's
are sort of real time kind of adventure type games. We'll call
uh,
it that.
Lord of Warcraft and stuff like
They're
that.
getting flung into the volcano and burnt
Certainly.
to hell.
Yes.
Excellent. Right, number two, game nasty. Number two.
Right. Well, do you know what? As we were talking, I thought of one, and this is going to be controversial because I actually like it. But the reason I want to put it in is because it's so bloody hard. It's just incredibly hard, and it's Ghost and Goblins, I think, or Ghost and Ghouls, whatever it's called. You know that game? It's just notoriously hard, and it annoys me how hard it's like. I struggle to get to the end of the first level. It's ridiculously hard.
But does it drag? I presume you're talking about like playing it through emulation.
Yeah, but I used to play it in an
Yeah.
arcade back in the
Yeah.
day.
All right. Yeah. It's fiendishly hard.
Yes,
I mean, I believe if you complete the game, it then says, right, now you need to go through and do it again to get the proper ending, and it
yeah,
tells you to then play it again. You've got to complete it again. But yeah, I'm with you. I hate it and love it in equal measures because
yeah,
it is beautiful. It sounds incredible, but it's just bastard hard and it kicks your arse, especially that fucking red demon
yeah,
when you jump in a little bit, no, just before you cross the river, you've got that wee
yeah.
demon that's sitting chilling out, and then you start shooting it, and if you don't shoot it enough, it comes and it goes over the other side of you, and then it takes your clothes, and then you know it's downhill from there.
Yeah, and I think where this hatred part of it comes from is back in the day when I was still doing the retro gaming. I was involved in this high score Facebook page, and we used to do high score competitions on our YouTube channels. And it done kind of like a World Cup thing where they basically draw names out of a hat and you play against one of the other guys. So I get my name get pulled out of the hat against Chris Novabug. And I was determined to beat him. I was determined because the last one we done, he beat me at what's that Egyptian one? Oh Mummy. So I'm not going to let him beat me this time. I'm not. And see when the amount of hours I put into that, try to beat him, and I still didn't. That's why I hate it.
He's actually pretty good at games.
Yes.
Bastard.
I'm
Yeah. So it's you've got a love-hate relationship
with the game, not with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, not with Novabug. Sorry, with the game. Yeah, with Ghosts and
yes.
Goblins. Is it Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts, or is it one? Or are you going to put them both on?
The first one, I can't. My memory's shit. It's the first one, the original one that was in the arcade.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Aye.
With the zombies at the very, very start. Yeah, but the Ghouls and Ghosts, it's got like these kind of death. What do you call it? Aye, death. He's got like the big sickle, and they come running out, they hide, and they jump out in front of you. Yeah, I think actually, Ghouls and Ghosts is marginally less impossible. I can get further in Ghouls and Ghosts than I can in Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah.
It's just infuriatingly, especially get to the second level, and you've got to try and jump up with the pillars as quick as you can. And there's these little fucking tiny things that come and get you, and then it knocks you, and you landing in the water. It's
So
you and I could have fallen out over this one, but you know what? I'm with you, mate. I'm with you.
now I've explained my reasons, though, you understand why I'm
Absolutely. I don't hold any grudges, and I do totally get it. Totally get it. So great stuff, right? And your final game, number 3, Nasty.
Nasty games. Like I said, I've never really thought about games as being nasty and stuff like that. But I think what I'm going to do here is pick a game that tried to rip off another game and didn't do a very good job of it. So I'm going to go back to when we were talking about Sensible World of Soccer. This company, I can't even remember their name, brought out a game called Football Glory, and it was basically just a Sensible Soccer clone. But they tried to up the ante a little bit by bringing in like funny little comedy things, like these streakers coming onto the pitch, like two guys coming on to get an injured player and dropping him off the stretcher. That's sort of thing. It was terrible. And I was actually quite insulted that they tried to rip off my.
So they tried to plagiarise it, but they made an arse of it. In other words, it ended up. No. So did it not? Did it even? What I can't say I've even heard it. What company released it, and what platform was it on?
I can't remember, but I could quickly find out. I'm sure. Wikipedia is my friend. But,
you go and look at that. So. And did it have the same sort of viewpoint, looking
exactly
above? Yeah, and with the graphics quite similar.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it came out in 1994. It was by a creation. I remember that now. It was by a creation company called Crow Team. That was the developer, and the publisher was Black Legend. Never heard of them.
And what was that? Was that on PC? Was it?
It was PC and Amiga, if I remember correctly. Let me have a look. Yeah,
Football Glory.
Amiga and PC, MS DOS. That's it. 1994.
Football Glory. I can't even. I thought you were going to say, oh no, it wasn't Emily Hughes Soccer. There was a game that came out, and it had similar graphics to Sensi Soccer, but it just didn't. Can't remember what it was called. It wasn't Football Glory.
Oh, so yeah, there's Kickoff maybe.
What's that?
Was it Kickoff?
No, it wasn't. No. I mean, Kickoff did come out just before Sensible Soccer. I can't remember what the hell it was called. But no, I can't say I've heard of that game. But yeah, there is nothing worse. I mean, if you're going to steal somebody else's idea, at least make it as good. Instead, what they've done, you're saying they fell drastically short. So was it the? I mean, let's be honest. The graphics in Sensible Soccer, you wouldn't buy a game like Sensible Soccer if it was based on the graphics. It's the playability, and was that where it lacked?
It did. For example, with Sensible World of Soccer, see, one thing I hate in games as well is like level. Like, for example, say if I'm playing FIFA, and I suck at it. So basically, you've got like beginner level right up to like world class. that see with Sensible World of Soccer, it didn't need that. If you were playing as Albion Rovers or
Yeah.
Airdrie against AC Milan, you knew you were playing against AC Milan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so with Football Glory, it didn't really have that. All the teams were the same. You know, the same kind of quality. It didn't have the kind of Sensible World of Soccer had this kind of thing called aftertouch. You could control the ball after you kick
Oh
it.
yeah.
You know,
That was
just they didn't really have that from memory. And I'm looking at a screenshot of it now. Actually, if you looked at it, you would just think it was Sensible Soccer. It's exactly the same. So
just and it had. You said it had little like sort of comedy things.
yeah, for example, we used to be able to chase a referee. See, we sent you off. You could chase a referee about the pitch, and then, or if you get injured, two wee guys would come on with a stretcher, and your wee guy would fall off the stretcher. You know, I mean,
You'd fall
nice.
off, aye.
Yeah, it's funny, but
you know, the problem with things like that for me is it's funny the first time.
Yeah.
And then the second and third time, you go, that's quite funny. Then it just becomes annoying, especially when it's something that actually deviates from the game and it slows you getting back into the game again. If here we go, we've got this little comedy, clip, whatever it is, and it becomes boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I suppose if the playability had been there, then you might have forgiven it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than plagiarism, as you say. You know,
if you're going to do it, at least
get your own ideas.
Do it a good turn. So,
yeah.
Anyway, listen, three fantastically nasty games that are going to be confined to hell. So that is great. So listen, John, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me on what is podcast number 1, because the first one was technically the pilot.
Thank you for having me. I actually feel quite honoured that you, out of all the people no doubt you're going to get on that are big names in the world of gaming and YouTube or whatever, you've asked little old me to come on. I think
no, not at all. You are the founder. I mean, you are the granddaddy of this this thing. So
yeah.
If people think it's shit, then you can direct all your vitriol towards Mr. Ray Latimer.
You should get a little theme tune like I used to have. I'm not going to sing it, but a guy called oh God, what was his name? That's terrible. I forget. There's a fellow YouTuber who was also a musician, and he'd done half.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name. Yeah, he's a nice guy. And I think he did one for Nova Bug as well. Actually, yeah.
He did.
I can't remember what his name was. Is it Ben? I think his first name was Ben.
I think it was, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry if he's listening. I can't remember his channel, but I had him do that, and I had Pete doing some of the intros and stuff as well. Pete on a retro tip.
Pete Armour. I've met Pete. I caught up with Pete actually last year. I think he's a good lad. But listen, John, thanks very much for taking part. Please hit me up when you do decide to return to YouTube, and I'll get you on, and I will absolutely give you a shout out, and hopefully get you some people to watch it. And I says, I hope things work out for you, buddy. And I says, we'll catch up very soon, eh?
Thanks so much. Yeah, catch up soon.
Okay. Cheers, and John. Take care, buddy.
Cheers. Bye.